Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the On the Go Show with Jacob and James. Let's get up and boogie to the beat of the On the Go Show. Don't be lazy, come on and get up, get down. Let the fun take over your body. Dance to the rhythm of that funky beat.
Well, James, it's another day and another dollar. What's been going on with you?
Nothing much, man. Same old, same old.
Speaking of days, there's a very day-oriented movie that came out recently. A sequel of sorts, I suppose, or the beginning of something new. 28 years later?
Yeah, 20 years later.
Yeah, so you saw it. What did you think?
So the first one was pretty good, done by Danny Boyle, which I really, really liked a lot. The second one, not so much. I didn't really like the other so much. I didn't like the cast. The characters weren't really as interesting. So in this one, you don't have to follow either of those movies. They kind of give you like a crawl, and they kind of tell you the events of the first two movies, and then so they kind of explain it to you. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to watch the first two. With this one, it follows Aaron Taylor Johnson. Aaron Taylor Johnson is playing a father who's teaching his son how to hunt and be a man. So they go into the woods. It's because they're separated. They're in the village. They were separated. And they don't have to follow anybody. They don't have to worry about, anything following them. And it's like a low tide and a high tide. So once the water rises up, you can't follow them. But if when the water's down, there's a trail to get out of the village. So 2 halves of 2 different movies. First half of the movie kind of seems like a Quiet Place with John Krasinski, and then the second half of the movie just kind of changes because I didn't know that Jodie Coleman was in this movie too, and she plays like the mom who's really sick and ill. So that's when it becomes a totally different film. That half of the story I like because the young man, he goes back to the village and his father's telling him all this heroic stuff that my son did, and he really didn't. He almost got him killed, but he's telling him all this heroic stuff. So, in his mind, his son is looking like that. It's not very unethical to a lot of people. But, his son and his dad's trying to pump him up. All the while, his mother's like brutally sick. She has memory loss, don't know who's who. She's sweating 24 minutes at a time.
Oh, wow.
So, that's what's going on with her. Meanwhile, back at the village, the son sees his father, going down on another woman while his wife is in bed, ill and sick.
Mm.
So, that triggers him into figuring out what are more secrets that you're hiding from him. So then that's when he wants to know, because while they're outside the village, you see like a fire, and the fire is basically, it's almost like
like a smoke signal.
Yeah, it's a smoke signal, but it's not really a smoke signal. There's a secret to it. It's a doctor, and he takes the bodies of the infected, and he burns them, and he collects the skulls, and he puts them in like a ritual almost, a memorial. You know how memorials have names carved out?
Right.
Well, this guy instead has the skulls put up into like almost like a memorial. So that's what he does. So the little boy sets out to take his mom to go find his doctor so he can find out what's ailing my mom and why she's so sick. So Aaron Taylor Johnson prohibits that and prohibits him from going. And he slaps the little boy because he's talking, the little boy's talking to his father. He's talking to him wrong. It's like, hey, you cheating on mom and all that. You got to take care of mom. So, he slaps him and he runs out with his mother and he leaves his dad. And that's the last time we see Aaron Taylor Johnson for the rest of the film.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. So you see him for the first half of 30 minutes. Cool. No problem. And then second half of the movie becomes this young man's journey to help his mom, who's ill and sick, across the no man's land, if you want to call it.
Right, where all the zombies are.
Yeah, where all the zombies are.
The
people, infected.
Yeah, the infected.
The infected. So he helps them across there, and it becomes a really good journey. I really, really like the stuff that was going on. You have different zombies or different infected. You have the alpha. You have the alpha who's like almost steroided up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the infected. They're like, the other infected are like almost like babies, are big fat people just crawling on the ground. And they're like really bloated and swollen, and they're just crawling on the ground.
Mm.
So you have those. And I like the different ranges of infected that they showed, because in the last two, they never showed anything like that. They never showed how they could grow, because we never knew they could grow. We never knew they could, steroids was also played a part in.
Right.
So to know that there was alphas and they're a lot more smarter was pretty scary. So as they're going across this journey and trying to help his mom, they ran into the alpha, who's, completely naked, who by the way, that's a lot of nudity. It's a lot of nudity.
Is there?
Yeah, a lot of nudity.
But
all prosthetics, of course, because you can't have no.
a lot of male
real,
frontal nudity.
Yeah, it's all prosthetics. All prosthetics. You can't have no real person walking around being nude around a TV.
Free the willy.
Yeah, so you got that, and they run across this pregnant, rage-infected monster.
Oh no!
And
they reproduce.
She could have already been infected already. She could have been infected and pregnant at the time.
Ah.
So Jodie Comer goes and helps the infected woman have the baby. And at the first, I didn't know how I would feel with that, because to the larger story, you really didn't need to put that in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it was just something they just wanted to put in there because life given away, and life given away, then life
right.
Again. So I guess that's why they kind of want to put that in there.
The cycle of life, circle of life.
Yeah, cycle of life, circle of life.
Yeah.
So she ends up delivering the baby, and the baby's not infected. The baby is not completely infected at all.
Oh, interesting.
Which I found that to be very interesting. So they end up taking the baby on their journey to find a doctor. So they go to the doctor, played by Ralph Fiennes, who's really, really good. I really, really liked him in that. They go to the doctor. They find him. He introduces himself, shows him everything. Tells him everything about what I've been doing, about what he's been doing, and that's when he kind of helps his mom. Finds out she has cancer. Very touching and emotional point. This is probably the emotional point of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
He has to let her go. She has to pass away. So she goes on into the fire, and she passes away. So that's how that's done. So at that point, the little boy, if you've probably seen in the posters, putting the skull on top of the the memorial, the mountain. That's her. That's Jodie Comer's head.
Interesting.
Yeah, which I thought was really, really, it was really bright. It was really cool. Cool and also sad, in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that part. It's not much infected zombie stuff going on in here as one would think. The trailer kind of makes it hint like it is. A lot of that stuff going on. There's not a lot of that. It's like more of an artsy-fartsy. More of an fartsy type zombie movie. So we're expecting to go in here and see a whole bunch of, zombies and cutting off heads. Looking at the movie, it looks like it's a movie that's set in the 1913 or something. Because there's no TV where they're at in the village. There's no TV. There's none of that stuff, and everything's been done manual labor. Right. Outside of that, it's still electronics. Everything else works good. Outside the UK, it's this UK that's messed up.
Right. It's like I think it's like the UK and some other parts of the world. I was told.
Barely.
Something like that.
They got theirs under control. It's everyone else. It's everywhere else that's still outside the normal life.
And in 28 years, you couldn't help the UK at all.
No. I mean, they got themselves together. Everyone else got themselves together, because there was another character in the movie who played like a military guy, and he had a cell phone. He was like, he was joking around, talking about he actually saved the young boy. The young boy's name, by the way, is Spike. That's the young boy in the movie's name. I'm stop calling him that. Spike.
Post-apocalyptic name. Pretty standard. So
the guy helps him and stuff like that. He's like, man, I could be doing Amazon right now. I could be doing UPS driving. Instead, I decided to be a military soldier. And like I say, you keep forgetting where this movie is set. the time of the movie that it's set because
Yeah.
it doesn't look like it doesn't feel like. But Ralph Fiennes saves Spike, saves the little kid. Ralph Fiennes tells him, "It's time for you to go. It's time for you to go. It's time for you to go back home. It's time for you to go back home with you and the baby, so you guys can reconnect with your father." So Spike writes a letter, handwritten letter, to his dad, telling him everything's fine. I'll be making a journey on my own. So he grows up to be a man. Basically, it's a coming of age story. It's more of a coming of age story in a zombie way.
Right.
And he writes a letter, leaves the baby back at the village. The village people see the baby. Aaron Taylor Johnson gets the note and he's screaming because, he wants to see his son again.
And, and also because he's not in this movie at all.
Yeah. He's not in that movie for that much minute. So he sees him, he wants to see his son again, obviously. And his son decides that he wants to start a new path of his own. Right. Basically. So that's the second half of the film. The ending is another something up on itself. Because remember at the beginning of the trailer, you saw these kids and it was in the room. They were watching Teletubbies. So they're watching Teletubbies. The mom comes in and tells the kid, one of the kids, don't come outside. If you hear noises, don't open the door. Everyone in the house gets infected. All the kids get infected.
Oh.
Everybody, except the one little boy. So the little boy runs to the cathedral and he sees his dad and he tells his dad what's going on. His dad is like a priest. His mind is warped already. So his mind is like, oh, let him in, let his will be done and all that type of stuff. His mind's completely warped. Lets him in, let the zombies in, and his father gives him a cross. And he tells the little boy, always take this cross with you no matter where you go. So that's how his story arc ends at the beginning of the film. I was made to believe that the little boy in the beginning of that film was Aaron Taylor Johnson. And he just grew up and had his own child, which was Spike. Right. That's what I thought. At the end, it's probably one of the most different tone changes I've ever seen in my entire life of watching the film. The Spike sees the alpha, and the alpha is coming with a pack of other infected. All of a sudden, these 5 or 6 guys in the tracksuits in horrible blonde wigs jump from out.
Italians?
Hold on. They jump from off of a mountain onto the ground and start beating up the infected like a Power Ranger movie.
All right.
And they got different colored tracksuits on, blonde wigs, big chains, and they just start beating the crap out these zombies and cutting them off with nunchucks and sticks, and all this stuff that you're just totally confused. You're totally confused.
I don't even know if I believe this part of the story, James.
Well, this is true. It's true.
This is out there.
Yeah, it definitely catches you off guard. And after they get through beating up the zombies and killing them and chopping them up, the guy, the camera zooms in on the guy, and he has on a cross, and it's upside down. And then he starts talking to him and says, "Hey, like you really was about to be in some trouble, mate. You need some help." And then the movie cuts off from there. So I don't know who these people. It's the little boy from the beginning of the film, basically. So I'm just like, what? All this time, that was the little boy from the beginning of the film?
Yeah, because 28-year difference, right?
28-year difference. Yeah,
it's just to reinforce, it's been almost 30 years, so
yeah,
he would be an adult. Yeah,
he's the little boy from the beginning of the film that was in the house. They got attacked by zombies, and he ran to the cathedral, and he got his dad gave him a cross. I was like, wow. I mean, it was good to know he was still alive, but it was just a total tone shift. It was a very bold thing to do.
Right.
Very bold.
And for like a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
It ends on a cliffhanger. It's obviously going to end on it starts a new trilogy.
Right. Because everything's a trilogy.
I don't know how I feel about the direction they're going. This direction that they're going, because that really kind of threw me off a little bit with that.
Right.
with the Power Ranger stuff.
The Power Rangers.
Yeah, and it was kind of I will say it was a foreshadow because at the beginning, because when we get to Spike, Aaron Taylor Johnson wakes him up. He's playing with this Power Ranger toy, and he keeps playing with it before he gets out of bed.
Interesting.
I wonder if this is like a foreshadow. I wonder if that was the foreshadow. So I don't know what to make of this. I really don't. Now, also too, I keep saying Power Rangers. It also looked like Ninja Turtles. It also,
yeah, I mean any superpowered kids thing, right?
Yeah, because I'm assuming that he probably got it. Because I'm assuming that he probably got his inspiration from the reason why his group had all these different colors was because he was watching Teletubbies.
Right.
So I'm assuming that's probably the reason why he got the inspiration. So that's another foreshadowing. Because, like, all of them had on purple. I mean, one of them had on purple, one of them had on orange, one of them had on green, one of them had on red, like these different color tracksuits. You know what I'm saying? So it was just so weird. That's
kind of funny because when you think about it, that might be that guy's only reference to, like, characters, right? Because the zombies came, or the Ragers, whatever they're called in this universe.
Yeah, infected.
The infected came in while they were watching TV, and then after that, you had 28 Days Later happen. Yeah. So all the TV stuff goes away. That might be his only. That might have been that character's only time watching television, and that's the only thing he remembers. So yeah, he kind of imprints that on his little gang that he's got going on. Is the Teletubbies? Just imagine if the Teletubbies is the only thing you've ever seen ever in 30 years.
Yeah. No, you got a point. They had on these bad looking wigs. All of them had on blonde wigs, which was just weird. That was weird. All of them had bad teeth and rotting teeth. So that was weird too. And they all had on like nunchucks. They all had their personal weapon, their personal weapon of their choice. It was just to round out and finish up the review. I liked the movie for the most part. I didn't care for the editing choices because like Danny Boyle he would throw in these little different, as the movie's going along, he would throw in like different little montages like Robin Hood or the Nazi army. That was kind of getting on my nerves a little bit. I was like, stop doing this. Stop doing this. Okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. I don't know nobody else got it, but I got it. He would show like montages of a dream, Spike having a dream, or his mom, Jodie Comer, having a dream. Like, I didn't like that. Stop that. Because they didn't really lead to anything other than, your own interpretation.
Right.
So he would show like this little montage. It was just pop, 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 pop. I don't like that type of stuff. I don't like when films do that. So editing was a weird choice. Didn't like the ending. Totally different tone change. I just feel like you just don't do that.
That is like a weird setup.
It's a weird setup to something that I may not be a fan of going forward.
Right. I mean, interesting choices.
Yeah, it was an interesting choice. I actually liked the second half of the film because the first half of the film felt like shit could be already seen before. The first half, to see Aaron Taylor Johnson and his son, teaching his son how to be a man. I've seen that before. I've seen movies like that all the time.
Yeah, that seems kind of pointless to do.
I like this more between him and Jodie Comer for the simple fact that it's him trying to be a man on his own.
Right.
Not needing his father and helping his mom, trying to see what sickness is ailing her.
Right.
And, because the first half sets it up, like, hey, he's not very good at anything. He's trying to teach Aaron Taylor Johnson, trying to teach his son how to use an arrow. He almost got him killed. Things like that. So to him, you kind of are rooting for him because you want to see how he's going to do it. He's going outside of the proximity and doing it on his own.
Yeah, it's an underdog story.
It's an underdog story, and it's a journey. It's a journey story. It's a coming of age story almost.
A little bit.
So So I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked it enough to give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay, that's not bad.
It's a 7 out of 10 film.
Kind of curious to see where the next two movies go, I guess. I don't know if it really warrants like a new trilogy.
Yeah, it does a little bit because you want to see what goes on with Spike.
Yeah, now this one does, but I don't know if you needed to do that. You could have just rounded it up with the third movie and been fine. But yeah, I don't know. Danny Boyle's he's the main guy behind this. He's always been behind it, so I assume he's got a plan of some sort.
he's a guy that he changes up every film. Each film has a different tone to it.
Yeah.
So with the first film, while you're thinking that it's going to be all about infected zombies, it's more about the stuff that happens today, where when they get to the village, when they get to a certain checkpoint, they bring to the military officers. Military officers want to take the women and reproduce. Like they were the real monsters in the first one. They want to take the two ladies that were in there with Cillian Murphy and reproduce and use them just to reproduce, cook, and clean. That kind of relates to today. So he has a way of changing up different themes in each movie. With the second one, he had the father who abandoned his wife and let her almost get
infected or killed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, and then it turns into a different story. Like everything is just not done by complete happenstance. But with the ending, that just threw me for a loop. He just totally switched it up. Totally switched it up. 7 out of 10 film, still very gory. I liked it enough I would watch it again on TV or on streaming if it came on. It's shot very well because I didn't like how the second film was shot. Well, the first one was shot really, really good.
Well, I was looking it up, and Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, who worked on both the first and this one, they were only producers on that second film. It was somebody else directing it and shooting it.
Oh, it definitely showed.
Yeah.
It definitely showed.
So that might be why this movie's going in the direction it did, because that's potentially something Danny Boyle had thought about like a few years ago when they were going to do it 28 months later, like back in 2019. I'm reading here. So maybe this is just like the continuation of like whatever idea Danny Boyle had when they were originally going to do that.
Yeah, it definitely showed. I'll put this one up there with the first one because I just like the acting. The acting was really good. Jodie Comer was really good. She's playing somebody who's sick and doesn't remember nothing, having amnesia the entire time. I did not know she was in this film. Last time I seen her was in Bike Riders. So that's the last time I saw her, and she was good in that too. So it was a good film. It was a good film. Like I say, not a lot of zombie killing. It's quite enough in it. It's very gory. It's a lot of spine rippling out, but it's not your average type of film.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, so I get why people would be disappointed because the trailer points out something totally different.
I love Jacob James Podcast. You know, Jacob James Podcast don't go anywhere down the place. You know, Jacob James Podcast don't go home, just in the car, in the prison, you wouldn't go in the house, grandma's house, mistress's house. You know, Jacob James Podcast anywhere, man. It's the best dang podcast you ever gonna listen to. I don't care what no one says. It's a good podcast. Go Astros. Yeah.
Did you see the Bruce Springsteen trailer?
No, but I know Jeremy Allen White's in it, right?
Did not know they was making a movie out of just Bruce Springsteen.
I didn't know either. But yeah, Jeremy Allen White is Bruce Springsteen. A guy at work was talking about how he doesn't know how to feel about Jeremy Allen as Bruce.
I don't know how either. I'm not even a fan of Bruce Springsteen. Take care of your home. That's how you sound. Take care of your home. I mean, I like him. I like what he stands for as a person, and I like that he has balls and he's not scared to speak his mind.
I think the question is Jeremy going to do anything to his voice to like match Bruce Springsteen? Not singing wise, but like speaking wise, right? Because I don't think Bruce Springsteen sounds like Jeremy Allen White or vice versa.
No, I don't think so either.
So I think the real question is like, all right, is this going to be like a push for Jeremy Allen White to like kind of act a little bit more, like, get some voice coaching, change his voice up a little bit? Like what is Jeremy Allen White going to bring to the table to make him be like, oh yeah, I see why they cast him as Bruce Springsteen?
Yeah, because what's his name? Timothy Chalamet. He did a really good job playing Bob Dylan. He did a really good job with that voice, and I was like, man, he kind of sounds just like Bob Dylan.
No, yeah. Well, Timothy Chalamet is a very dedicated actor, so I am curious to see how Jeremy Allen White portrays Bruce Springsteen.
Well, I see that now because after seeing him play, because I was never really big on Timothy Chalamet. I know the Dune movies. I like the movies as a whole, but I wasn't big on him.
Right.
But after seeing him play Bob Dylan, I mean, I was like, and I was kind of out on Bob Dylan. I was like, I'm so tired of seeing this stupid trailer.
I think most people are out on Bob Dylan.
Well, I mean, at that time, I was out on him because I didn't really know too much about him, of course.
Yeah.
And after seeing the movie, I was like, man, this guy is really good.
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet was a beast. He did his thing in there.
Yeah,
So,
he's good.
Yeah, so after I saw that kind of won me over on it because I took a piss on that Bob Dylan trailer every time it came out.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, man, Timothy Chalamet did his thing. So if Jeremy Allen White, he's going to have to bring that same level of acting to Bruce Springsteen if he can.
No, for sure. I mean, he can't come in as Carmy from The Bear, you know? He can't come in as Lip Gallagher. He's got to push himself a little bit. And, maybe that's why he took the role. Maybe that's why he took it. Maybe that's why he went out for this. I mean, we know he can kind of do character acting because he was in the Iron Claw movie, right? He was that wrestler. Maybe this is just him branching out a little bit more.
What actor would you want to see portray another singer? Because I do like the fact that they're doing singers that are alive and not dead. Because Bob Dylan's not dead, contrary to what everybody thinks. He's not dead.
No, he just won't die.
Yeah, he lives in the woods. He lives very seclusive.
Yeah,
he's very seclusive.
It's probably good. You know what, man? I really haven't put that much thought into it.
I know they're doing the Beatles, which I think is ridiculous. They're doing a 2-part movie.
4 Beatles movies.
4 Beatles movies. I think that's
one
ridiculous.
for each member, and 2 of them are still alive.
Yeah,
so
2 of them are still alive.
Think about that.
I think that is absolutely ridiculous.
Actor who can portray singer. You got to give me a singer. You can't. Prince.
I want to see.
Aren't they already doing a Prince movie?
Yeah, but I don't know who's playing them though.
I feel like they got to be working on that. Prince. So, talking about black actor, obviously.
Light skin.
Got to look like Prince.
I don't know any, man. That would be like
kind of lanky. Is there any Is there any young black actor that could portray Prince?
Well, I was thinking about this guy named Vic Mensa. He's a rapper. He doesn't really rap anymore. He doesn't rap consistently, and I don't know what his acting is like. So that's the only deal about it. Because you have to be able to get somebody that can dance a little bit and be able to,
Yeah, he's got a Prince face.
He does. He does.
He's got a Prince face. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I don't really know his acting though.
I don't know his acting. And you gotta be able to sing too.
Yeah. The thing is, James, we've had this conversation before. There's not a lot of young black actors around.
Oh man, no, that's quite a few. That's quite a few.
Is there more? Yeah. There used to. I don't know. I remember we had this conversation. I guess well-known black actors, right? Because there was last time we had this conversation, it was Jonathan Majors, Michael B. Jordan, and some other people.
Well, they said. Well, what happens is Hollywood, and I don't want to go off on a tangent, but Hollywood tends to cycle these guys in and out. It's like tag in, tag out. And you kind of like a flavor of the month. And unless you're Michael B. Jordan and you have good staying power, you kind of flavor of the month type deal. You kind of hope.
John Boyega was the other one.
John Boyega, Aaron Pierre, who's playing Green Lantern, Jon Stewart.
Right.
What's his name?
He could potentially do a Prince.
No, he's way too big. He's way too big to play that.
Okay, fair enough. John David Washington, I forgot he's around. John David
Washington, you also have...
But he's not even young. He's 40 years old.
Damson Idris. Damson Idris is about to be in F1. Like I say, they cycle these guys in and out like this. Not Taylor Edgerton, but my man from he was in this, I forgot what movie he was in.
You got Daniel Kaluuya. Yeah.
They cycle him in and out, man.
He's too dark skinned to be a Prince, though.
It sucks that how black actors are doing, because I don't really see this being done with anyone else. But it's they choose a flavor of the month type deal. If you're hot, then they choose you. When you're not, you don't. So it's just it's just one of those things. There's a lot of great unknown black actors out there that do, especially in these art house films.
Yeah,
because Jonathan Majors was an art house film. When he first started, that's when I first started seeing it was in art house films, and it's just a matter of Hollywood looking at you. That's one thing I can commend for Tyler Perry or Spike Lee or some of these guys. They hey, I'm gonna put your name out there.
I love Jacob and James On The Go podcast because I can listen to it in the car or at home or on the go. It's just super easy. You know what I mean?
Did you watch Dragons?
Oh, yeah. How to Train the Dragon. Yeah, I can give a quick review. I thought that this movie was very good. It had everything that the Disney live action movies are missing. Heart.
Yes.
Very emotional. It hit all the beats. It was very shot for shot.
Shot for shot, dialogue to dialogue, like very, very close. And what I like about this movie, James, was any changes it made, it did add some stuff. It didn't take away anything. There might have been a scene or two like swapped out for something. Khadija and I, we went and watched it, and then we came home and we watched the animated movie to like do a compare and contrast. Man, yeah, you're talking shot for shot, dialogue for dialogue, like some wording is changed. Whatever changes were made in this film did not diminish the movie. It enhanced the movie. It enhanced like the story. It did a little bit of world building. I like that he kind of brought in like the other kids had an animosity towards Hiccup a little bit because he's like the chief's kid. And not only is he the chief's kid, he's also kind of a screw up, right? He's like the tryhard, you know? So I like that little bit of like, oh yeah, they're looking down on him because he's a tryhard. He's like when the boss hires his nephew and his nephew's just a screw up, and you're like, the only reason you know he's around is because he's the boss's son. You know what I mean? They quickly got over that, which was also good because that's also part of the story, right? But it was just like a nice little like, oh yeah, they just kind of fleshed that out a little bit.
Yeah, I love that part as well.
But straight up, by the books, this is how you do a live action remake. You bring love and respect for the original material, and you don't diminish it. Like I looked up Dean DeBlois afterwards, and his filmography, James, is just like he did the original Lilo and Stitch cartoon. He did the original Lilo and Stitch movie, and he did an interview where they're like, "Yeah, they didn't call me back to do it, but DreamWorks called me back to do How to Train Your Dragon." And I was surprised. I thought he elected himself to return for How to Train Your Dragon. I didn't realize DreamWorks actually invited him back to do it again. Good on DreamWorks. Good call on DreamWorks. Now, is this movie necessary? Not at all. Not at all. You don't need to see this. This didn't need to be made. We're not praising live action remakes. Like, it didn't need to be done. However, if you're gonna do it, this is the way to do it. And they already have the sequel greenlit, which I kind of poo-pooed it because it's like, yeah, you know, like original movies are struggling to get off the ground, and like, here we go. This live action remake is already getting a sequel approved before the movie comes out. And evidently DreamWorks had all the faith in the world in this movie, and it shows, and they proved themselves right, or they proved us wrong or whatever, where it's like, yeah, you know what? This movie was good, and I would watch a sequel. However, I am curious to see if the sequel holds up. They did this shot for shot, but the first movie, very simple story. The second and third movies, it gets a little bit more complicated. There's a lot more dragons. There's a lot more action. There's a lot more like story going on. So I'm very curious to see if it holds up, if you're going to do every movie, the subsequent sequels, shot for shot as well. And that's where it's going to get a little shaky.
But I mean, look, I like the film. I thought Gerard Butler, this is probably the best he's ever been. I've always liked Gerard Butler, but you know, he tends to take films that are not that don't have great quality to them. I just say it like
just action films, big dumb action movies.
Yeah, I just say it like that. They're not very quality films. So he tends to take those type of films.
Right.
But I've always known that he was a good actor. I like if he could just get in a film that's just halfway good. And he was really good in here, man. He was honestly my favorite character about this entire film. Hickpen was cool. The kid that played Hickpen. Yeah, Hiccup. I'm sorry. Yeah, the kid that played Hiccup was fine.
I think he did really good with the voice. He did the voice really well, and he didn't like try to completely match it, but like he made it his own, and I think that was nice.
Well, I'm happy about that because I don't want to hear a Woody Allen voice in this movie because that's pretty much who he's supposed to be, kind of like Woody Allen.
Yeah.
You know, Woody Allen. Anybody know Woody Allen? Google him.
Yeah.
But you know, that's how, you know, Woody Allen sounds like that. Those stupid. You know what I'm saying? Movie Ants.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know, because Woody Allen always sound like that. You know, yeah. You know, you got that nervous voice, that little nervous pitch voice.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he didn't sound like that. Yeah, it was fine. I didn't too much care for his friends. They kind of messed over the friends a little bit because I was like, this is not supposed to be this way. This is supposed to switch to that. That supposed to be that. Yeah. So that was only little nitpicks I had. I don't like that actor, the little heavy-set guy that plays him in Deadpool.
Oh, Julian.
Yeah, I can't stand him. I cannot stand him as an actor. I cannot stand him. he plays the same role in every movie he's in. He's once again flavor
typecast.
Yeah, typecast, big fat guy that can do a whole bunch of crazy stuff. So I don't really care for him. But I was very surprised at the scope of the film.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit long. I didn't know it was gonna be that damn long.
A little bit.
Like, all right,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. The music was great as well. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. You know,
the dragons look good. They managed to make them like look more realistic and less cartoony. They're still cartoony, but like when you compare their designs in the animated movie and their designs in this movie, the differences are there, and it's like, yeah, you know, it shows.
A little less toothless in this one than it was in the original. But and that was fine. I was cool with that. Yeah, I was cool with that.
But again, I don't think the differences are big enough to be like super noticeable.
No.
And I think most like at most, if you can really nitpick this film if you really wanted to. And you even made the comment that like you're making little kind of nitpicks here and there about it. So, and I think that's kind of the biggest. Like, there's no real big gripes with this. It's like there's a lot of love and appreciation for the source material, and it's turned out to be a good move to hire the same guy who did the originals. Dean DeBlois, again, filmography is impressive because original Lilo and Stitch, I think he co-wrote like Mulan, the 1999 animated Mulan movie.
Oh, okay.
He was a story guy on the Atlantis, the Lost Empire movie. A lot of ties to not early, but like the 90s, early 2000s, like Disney stuff, which is very good. And this is his first live action film. So as someone who's making the jump from animation to live action, knocked it out the park.
Yeah, he did.
And again, movie's not necessary. Live action remakes, not necessary, but if you're going to do it, this is the way to do it.
Oh, it was definitely a cash grab. No doubt about that.
No, for sure. But at least it was a good cash grab and not like a sloppy one.
No, that's very much true.
And the CGI was great. You compare that CGI to like Lilo and Stitch or anything Disney puts out, Disney's CGI, very bad lately. So DreamWorks, good job. Don't make any more live action. Like, I don't see them, like, I don't know. It's hard because you look at the DreamWorks animated catalog.
El Dorado.
This makes them, El Dorado would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, El Dorado would be fantastic.
Yeah, probably El Dorado movie next.
If they do it. But I think you do your Dragons and you kind of move on. Because Dragons is like one of their most successful franchises besides Shrek. I don't think you can't do a live action Shrek. That would be an abomination. You can't put that out there.
Yeah.
Just do Dragons. And I mean, if the demand for El Dorado is high enough, maybe, but there's not a lot of demand for El Dorado, these days. Like, it's remembered fondly, but like, it's not like Atlantis, The Lost Empire. A lot of people really do want to see a live action Atlantis movie just because like the action sequences and stuff would be cool. True. But the demand for El Dorado is not there. So I don't see them doing that. And I really just hope like you do your Dragons movies and you just kind of move on. You do one franchise, you beat Disney out the water, and you continue on.
I'm with you, man.
But Hollywood thinks a different way. So we'll see what happens in the future with this. But I just wanted to squeeze this in here where it's like, hey, movie was good, wasn't necessary, no, but this is how you do it.
Yeah, I give it a 7 out of 10. Good little matinee film.
Yeah, man, it was a good film. We did see it in a matinee. It was nice. It was a nice time. We were like 2 out of 6 people in the room. It was great. That concludes our episode for this week, kids. So if you want to email us, you can email us at onthegopod2023@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at On The Go with Jacob and James. You can find us individually at jacobdantone.audio, and you can find James at...
I'm going to change it eventually. It's 9794, but I'm still going to change it eventually.
Oh, you're going to change it soon?
Yeah, I don't know how to... I didn't know how to change it.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting. I eagerly await to see what the new name is. So.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm going to change it.
Fun times. All right. Well, without further ado, I'm on the go. James is on the go, and we are all on the go.